Hey y'all, so real quick, I do want to talk about something. I don't know if you guys remember a brother by the name of Montario. He was the FedEx driver that was driving in Mississippi. He went to somebody's house to deliver a package, and this white man and his son come outside and they shoot at Montario. And then they get in their car because he gets back in his truck and they chase him down the street all the way to the freeway, shooting at him the whole entire time. So I want y'all to picture this in your head, right? Not only did they shoot at him at the house, they are following his delivery truck. Let me emphasize delivery truck down the road into the freeway, shooting at him. Now, what kind of dangerous and illegal bullshit is that? Well, these two white men have now had the case dismissed. So let me play the clip first of all so that you guys can see what happened to Montario.
In Mississippi, a white father and son have both been arrested, charged, and let out on bail after allegedly shooting at an African-American FedEx driver. Brandon Case is charged with attempting to cause bodily injury with a firearm, and his father, Gregory Case, is charged with conspiring with Brandon to commit aggravated assault. Montario Gibson says he was trying to find an address while delivering packages for his job at FedEx when he says he was chased and shot at by the Cases, the bullets hitting his work van. Montario Gibson is joining us now to tell us what happened. He is here with his attorney, Carlos Moore, as well. Montario, thank you so much. This sounds terrifying. Can you tell us what happened?
Okay, so basically on the evening of January 24th, I was attempting to deliver a package to 417 Junior Trail, and I accidentally put the wrong address in, so I couldn't find the house. I eventually found the right address and proceeded to deliver the package to it. Upon doing it, I was approached by a white vehicle, and that vehicle chased me, tried to cut me off, and I miraculously got out of there. I went down the street about 2 or 3 houses after I got away from the initial vehicle, and there was a guy standing in the middle of the road holding a gun at my vehicle and telling me to stop, which I did not do. They essentially just chased me out the city, and I had to file a police report after that. Shots were fired into my van as well. Yes, ma'am. That's a quick summary of it.
Very quick and helpful. And so you were wearing your FedEx uniform when they saw you outside of your van, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I was fully dressed in FedEx uniform.
And what do you think the Cases were trying to do? Were they trying to kill you?
Honestly, in my humble opinion, I think they were, because after they fired the initial shots, they continued to chase me out of the city again. I say so. If you didn't succeed the first time, then I could just only imagine what they was going to do if they had caught me.
Did they say anything? What do you think their motivation was here?
I honestly have no idea. We had no type of interaction before they did what they did. No words were exchanged or anything like that.
Okay, and Carlos, can you tell us a little bit about Montario's interaction then with police once he got them involved here?
Yes, he immediately called the police that evening after he got to the interstate and informed his boss. The police did not take it seriously, so his boss went down with him the next morning to the station to make an official report. She showed them the bullet casings, the actual vehicle with the bullets in it, and the packages with the bullets, and then they started to believe him. However, they still allowed the Cases 8 days of freedom before they turned themselves in to the Brookhaven Police Department, spending less than a day in jail on a $75,000 and $150,000 bond. And so that's why the family has contacted me, because they wanted this to be taken seriously and for there to be real charges for the Cases.
Montario, when this was happening, and it's really just happened here recently, as you looked back on this after a little bit of time had passed, did you see similarities to the Ahmaud Arbery case?
Yes, ma'am, I can definitely see the similarities, and that's why I feel it's my responsibility to speak up, because Ahmaud Arbery didn't survive to speak up for himself, so I want to take that upon myself to do that for me and him as well.
So they're out on bail, and they were given time to turn themselves in. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I kind of figured that was going to happen in the first place when I initially reported it, because, like I said, the officers were not taking me serious at all. Even when I went to the police station, they weren't taking me serious. So I kind of figured that was going to happen.
If this was a black father and son, and you were a white FedEx driver, do you think this would be different?
Yes, man, without questioning. I would have been arrested probably that same night and not given bail at all.
How has FedEx responded? Have they been accommodating to you?
Not really. I am currently on unpaid leave. They gave me up to 2 weeks off, but it's unpaid. They have paid for therapy. They haven't like really supported me in making the case progress forward, or I guess that's how I can say it. They haven't contacted me at all, except for like once since this whole incident went down. They said they was investigating. I haven't heard anything since though.
You're on unpaid leave?
Yes, ma'am, currently.
Okay, and if you go back to work, I mean, where would you be working?
They told me they was going to try to work that out. I honestly don't know.
All right, I have actually just lost signal, but I know that you answered my question, so I'm going to ask you another one because I believe that our viewers are able to hear you. I know, Carlos, that you have suggested, you've requested that the FBI be looking into this incident as a possible hate crime. Can you tell us about that, and can you tell us what you have heard from the FBI?
Yes, I did ask the FBI to officially open a hate crime investigation 2 evenings ago. I understand that on yesterday they did go down to the Brookhaven Police Department and pick up the file. And so while they would not confirm or deny that they are investigating, we do believe that they have taken this case seriously. We've also informed the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, and they have flagged the case, and they are considering opening an investigation as well. So Mr. Gibson is pleased that the federal government is taking this case much more seriously than the Brookhaven Police Department.
Okay, I can hear you again now, just so you are aware. But DeMonterio, I just want to go back to the situation that you're in right now. So you were shot at in the course of your work for FedEx. You are now on unpaid leave. I'm assuming you needed leave. Tell me a little bit about why you decided you needed leave. I think we all know, but just explain why you're taking some time off.
Yes, ma'am. So initially, like as soon as we left the police station, I was put right back on that same route, like the following day. I tried to go through my work. It became kind of overwhelming, and like my anxiety started acting up. I almost had like an anxiety attack, and I just felt like I couldn't handle it mentally. So I decided to seek therapy and just take a few days off, or as much time as I need off, rather.
Ontario had all of this happen to him. We had to fight for over a year. I know DeMonterio very well. We have spent a lot of time with him and being with him the whole way of the situation that he is dealing with. We fought for like a whole year to get them to even try these men because they had a very hard time. The family was actually being threatened. They tried to arrest DeMonterio's mother. Every time activists would come out there, the police presence would show up in a matter of minutes. We went to go see DeMonterio to get his story. We went with our cameras and went to the place where it happened. And since these men live across the street, they called the police. The police came and threatened to arrest everybody. And the bottom line is that there's a lot of corruption there where this happened. Those men are related to some of the people in the police force. And there's just a lot of corruption there. So we never thought that they were ever going to be brought to trial. And then they were. And we find that on purpose, evidence was withheld. And then later they made it known that this evidence was withheld so that they could use it as a reason for a mistrial.
Minutes into day 3 of a trial involving a white father and son accused of shooting at a black FedEx driver ends in a mistrial. 12 News' Tia McKenzie was there and tells us why a mistrial was declared.
A shocking decision made by Judge David Strong, declaring a mistrial after 3 days in the courtroom.
Gregory and Brandon Case are accused of chasing and firing shots at FedEx driver DeMonterio Gibson while he was delivering a package. There was an array of emotions in the Lincoln County Courthouse after the judge's decision. 3 witnesses took the stand Wednesday, one of which was Detective Vincent Fernando with the Brookhaven Police Department. He left out crucial evidence during the pre-trial, including video and audio elements.
If that's missing, what else is missing? I do understand that.
District Attorney D. Bates says he disagrees with the mistrial, but that it will be on the trial docket sometime in the near future.
Only 2 parties in the case, the state of Mississippi and, of course, the defense. The law says that Detective Fernando is a member of the prosecution team. And yesterday, there were 2 times when he violated court rules.
Detective Fernando was asked, "Did you find a pistol in the home of Brandon Case?" He responded, "No, but I did find long guns and shell casings." That information was supposed to be excluded from the trial.
Everybody agrees that we had requested, and the state had requested, and it had been withheld and was, we were given for the first time yesterday. We were surprised with new evidence.
The judge appearing frustrated.
The failure to turn over matters in discovery is just something that can't be ignored. In 17 years, I don't think I've ever seen it happen, but it happened here, and with great reluctance, the court has no choice in this matter but to grant the motion for a mistrial.
And then after the mistrial, DeMonterio was waiting to see if they were going to retry them. And the latest news is that they are not.
Actually, devastated. You know, I was kind of hoping it was going to turn out the way I wanted it to turn out.
Former FedEx driver DeMonterio Gibson speaking out one day after a judge dismissed charges against a white father and his son accused of shooting at him after Gibson delivered a package to their home 3 years ago.
I know you said accused, but I do want to point out the fact that the lawyers did say that they did it, but they just gave excuses as to why they did it. No one ever said they weren't guilty or anything like that.
Monday, a Lincoln County judge granted a defense motion to toss out the indictment that charged Gregory Case and his son Brandon Case with attempted first-degree murder. The judge ruled Brookhaven Police Detective Vincent Fernando intentionally withheld evidence from the defense, which the judge called an egregious violation.
And the judge accepted that argument without, it appears anyway, that much pushback from the prosecution.
According to Mississippi School of Law professor Matt Steffi, it's rare for a judge to dismiss a case.
Which means that the judge thought that this was of such a magnitude that it and violated the defendant's rights to a fair trial so fundamentally that the most severe sanction was necessary.
It's corrupted from the beginning. They never arrested them. They gave them 8 days to turn themselves in. When they did turn themselves in, they let them right back out and stuff on bond, so it was no proper investigation.
Gibson believes authorities never wanted the case against the cases to go to trial in the first place. He says the men have relatives who work inside the Brookhaven Police Department who didn't want to see them held accountable.
I tried to get this case moved out of Brookhaven and everything due to the fact that I knew it was going to get thrown out. If I had got a chance to get on the stand and tell my story, there's no way that they weren't going to jail.
Gibson wants the U.S. Justice Department to examine the case to consider bringing federal charges.
So they have dismissed this case. DeMonterio still hasn't had his day in court to get justice, but he is still fighting. We are actually going to be speaking to DeMonterio later on this week. He will be on a live with me, and we will have numbers for everybody. We need y'all to call and make some noise. So he is not done fighting. We are not done fighting for him to get the justice that he deserves. So y'all stay tuned. Subscribe to this channel if you have not, and this is your first time coming around here. And y'all stay tuned to the live that we will have, and we will have more information on there about who you can call, where you can call, what we need you to say, or where you can email. You know that I have a system for that, for call to actions, and so we will make sure we set all of that up, and we will be live with DeMonterio for him to tell his story and then to ask what he needs from y'all to help assist him in this injustice. Like, I just don't know where it's okay for you to just come outside and start shooting at a delivery person. They claim they thought he was still in the package, but even then, you drive down the road just shooting at him. You could have shot other people in cars and everything. This was so racist. This was so reckless, but yet and still, these men are not going to be tried, charged, or any of that. And so I think that this speaks a lot to the country that we live in. Why so many immigrants are trying to bust their way in here. This is not necessarily a righteous place, as much as everybody want to talk about a dream. It's a nightmare for a whole lot of us in this country. And we often do not get justice. And if we want to talk about Mississippi, right? Mississippi is a whole nother monster in itself. We have got plenty of stories from Mississippi, and it's so much that goes on there that y'all might not believe really happens. You might live in a part of this country where you think that Black people do not get lynched and murdered every other week, and then it get covered up. You might not think that the KKK is very rampant and white supremacist organizations all through the police department, the EMTs, and everything that works there. But that is a reality for those that live down there in the deep South in Mississippi, as well as Alabama. And we have plenty of stories that we will be bringing to you soon on our Unjust series on MX Network, you guys. That is going to tell you plenty of stories of these people. Many of them did not survive. Few of them did. So their families are telling their stories. And for those that survived, they have told their stories. But they still live there. And those people that did survive, they still live in fear every single day. So y'all stay tuned to hear all of that. And yeah, we will give you further information about how you can help this brother so that he can continue his fight and hopefully get his day in court and get the justice that he deserves.